Cool. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of 20-somethings, because we are in our 20-somethings and we're all going to gather around and talk about some things. So, in this week's episode, in my little segment, I'm going to talk to you a bit about something called girl delusion. I think this is a really funny topic. So I'm in this group chat from some girls that I was working with. We've now called it girl delusion because one of the girls in it, she outed herself by accident by sending a message of being like, I'm going to go and meet this guy, insert name here, at the weekend. And this guy has famously, fucked her over. And of course, me and this other girl responded with, what? No, what are you doing? You should not go and fucking meet this man because he fucked you over. And the instant response is just revenge. And we were plotting plans to ruin this man's day. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to ruin his fucking day at the very least. And so we were plotting things of say you're going to meet him at the train station. This train station's really famous and people will take pictures outside of the station. And there'll be all these couples taking pictures and he'll be stood in the background waiting for you on his own. And he's a horrible man though, let's just clarify, we're not being mean for no reason, this man fucking deserves it. And we're all going these ideas are so good, they're so clever. And then the conversation soon took a turn. And this is where the girl delusion comes into it. She said, well, last time we met, he bought me dinner and all the drinks, and I didn't have to pay for anything. And we were like, oh, no, that's a pretty good deal. The issue is, it won't just be the dinner and the drinks, it'll be more than the dinner and the drinks. And we said, well, how does that make you feel? She was like, well, last time it was more than the dinner and the drinks. We had a great time. And we were saying, well, maybe you deserve this dinner and drinks for free. And the more that comes after. She was like, you know what? I was just thinking that. I've had a really stressful time. Maybe I just deserve this dinner and drinks. And we sat there and this conversation went so quick from fuck him, I hope he gets hit by a lorry, to, yeah, meet up with him again. Purely just from uni finances. We've not got the sufficient funds for that big man. Do you know what I mean? And I completely understand where she's coming from with that. I've got a lot of friends. I'm a very popular gal. And some are women, some are men, and I appreciate them in the different ways that they interact with me and the different things they provide to our dynamics. However, I can't say I've met many men, I can't say not any, that have been fucked over by a woman and then been tempted back by the idea of a steak dinner. Ever. For free. I can't say that's ever happened. And I don't know where it comes from with women. I was sat there wondering if maybe it's to do with the concept of I can fix him, which is the downfall of so many of us women. It really is. It's been the downfall of me. Can't even lie. I think it's how society brings us up, because we grow up as the little princesses that are going to be saved from the towers by these handsome princes, and we read these books. I mean, Colleen Hoover, I've just finished a Colleen Hoover book, and I hate to say it, I fucking loved it. There's this whole concept of men written by women that is meant to be, the ideal man that every woman wants. There are real life men written by women, they exist, and we want to find them. And if we can't find them, we want to create them. And actually, why? Why do we not just accept that these men are these men as much as we are who we are? And actually, if I was dating a bloke and he was absolutely hell-bent on making me exactly what he wished I was, get fucked, find someone else fits that criteria for you better, because it's not me. So I don't know why we do this to ourselves, because it's just unnecessary. I do think a symptom that comes along with these women forgiving these men to make them these men written by women. I know it's purely to justify our actions of returning, but it doesn't make actual coherent sense. We just ignore every heartbreak and pain that it brought us beforehand for this fucking free steak dinner. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because even the girl in the group chat that we were having this conversation, she was like, oh, you know, I did cry over him for about 5 to 7 business days and I was in absolute bits. But it's a free steak dinner. And I'm just like, is the free steak dinner and the cocktails actually fucking worth it? I don't think so. However much strength you put into healing, it is so much easier to knock yourself back down to the point you were at again than to build yourself back up. And if you're having a particularly stressful time, is the free steak dinner worth putting your mind through that level of distress all over again? I don't think so. Get a steak with your mum. Honestly, it's just the same. I just think we all need to take a bit of a lesson from this girl Delusion. However, I will say, I've had this conversation with multiple women now where women seem to find flawed men a lot more attractive than perfect men. And this does come from 100% I want to fix him. And I don't know what this desire is, because I often get told with my boyfriend that I fixed him or whatever. I didn't fix him. He fixed himself. So before he met me, he had a bit of a rap for, like, sleeping with women and not really talking to them after. I'm his first ever girlfriend. It was a big leap. However, did I fix him for that? No. We just met and we connected well. And he changed himself to fit the dynamic that he wanted with me. I didn't fix him. I didn't do that. I don't want to fix people because at the end of the day, I'm your girlfriend, not your mummy. I'm not fixing the shit that other people have broken. Absolutely, I can 100% support you, but it's a two-way street. And what is the point of wasting your time on a bloke that needs fixing when you can just find one that will fix himself for you? Or even better, doesn't even need to be fixed. Let's take a lesson from this, girls. We don't need this girl Delusion. We just don't need it. We don't need it anymore. It's not present in our lives. So for 2024 New Year's resolutions, stop fixing people and stop justifying going back to shitty men for a free steak dinner because it's not worth it. Even get one from Tesco, just cook it yourself. It's literally like a tenner. So let's get on with the day. So in my guest segment of today, I am going to have Miss Grace Brophy on, and we're going to be talking about flawed family dynamics, is a way to put it. In 2023, you know, we're moving away from the traditional nuclear family, and it's becoming more and more common for divorced families and step parents. And there's the famous saying of you can't control who your children date. You can't control who your son brings home. However, it works both ways. You can't control who your mum brings home either. And that is a massive issue that Grace and I have faced in our lives, which we can hopefully laugh about now. So, yeah, if you are struggling with your mum's dating or your dad's dating or any sort of parental guidance dating, this is the episode for you because trust me, you are not alone in that issue. Let's move on. Hello.
Hi.
Miss Grace Brophy.
Can't believe it.
How are you doing?
I made it on the pod.
You've made it on the pod. How are you feeling? Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling confident?
I probably feel nervous come Friday.
Right.
Friday I'll be like, oh my god, what have I done?
No, nothing. You've come on the pod and you've done exactly what you should do.
Okay.
And, you know, I always run these through with my guests to make sure that if you did say anything, that I'd just, like, cut it out if you didn't want it in. So don't stress, basically. So whenever I have a guest on the pod, I will always ask them to introduce themselves.
Oh, you're one of those.
I am.
What's your name? What's your age? Give me a fun fact about yourself.
Yeah. What's your favourite colour? Well, like, most people normally go like, hi, I'm Ava. I'm 21. I study English.
Yeah.
And I drive race cars for a living. Something like that. It's not anything like super exciting.
I do nothing interesting though.
Neither do I. The pod. This is the peak of my life.
It's fairly interesting though.
Thanks so much. Well, give us an introduction.
Okay, well, I'm Grace.
Hi, Grace.
I am 20. I'll be 21 in February. And I'm holding on to that as well.
As you should.
I don't have a fact though. Like, what do? I follow you around. I'm like, Ava, when are you free?
Well, one of the cool, interesting facts is that you're on 20-somethings and you're actually in your 20s.
Yeah.
Because you're the first guest for a couple of guests now that's been in their 20s.
Really?
The past two I've had have been in their teens.
Oh yeah, I suppose I forget that we're older though.
Yeah. Arguably, should they even be allowed on the pod?
You're special if you've been allowed on and you're under 20.
I agree. Because it's called 20-somethings, not teens. And it makes me feel like a bit of a... Am I allowed to say that on YouTube?
I don't know. Bit of a savile.
Bit of a savile, yeah. What a lovely old man.
Jim will fix it.
Ava will fix it. On 20-somethings. Okay, so I'd like to open with, how did we meet? Because I don't normally do this with my guests of how did we meet and blah, blah, blah. But I just think that our story... And first of all, we don't name names.
No.
So don't say like, oh, this fucking girl, her name's Rara. But she's a big part of this story. And I just think the story's really funny and you tell it really well.
Of how we met?
Yeah. And your impressions and everything. It's just so funny.
We met first year. I think it was our creative writing seminar, you know. And I crashed in like half an hour late in a complete panic and was like, just like on the verge of tears. It was my like very first day.
Yeah.
And then our seminar leader was like, oh, it's fine, just come and sit down. And I sat next to you, and you were just like, just leant over and you were like, it's fine. I was late too, it's fine. I'm Ava, by the way. And I was like, hi. And then we had to do like this exercise where we had to go in pairs and create like a profile of each other.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And you just grabbed my hand and you were like, I'm going with you, right? Like, that's okay. And I was like, yeah, of course it's okay. I was like, this girl's fucking cool. And then we swapped information. I literally got home and within like half an hour you were FaceTiming me. And I was like, I made a friend. And that was it.
Yeah.
I've never like not spoken to you since then.
Yeah, that was literally the beginning
like,
of it.
What, probably nearly a year and a bit ago now.
Well, if I'm honest, like when you came in all flustered and that, like that really reassured me because I was really late too. Our seminar, that was at 9 a.m, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I woke up at like 1:45.
Oh.
Because like, my alarm didn't go off.
Yeah.
And my mum, but I had a sleepover as well, so I had a friend in my bed. And my mum burst in the door in her pants. She like kicked my door in her pants, and she was like, Ava fucking Reynolds! Why are you not out of bed?
I can actually see that. Oh my God.
It's the first day of uni and you're still in bed. And I was like, I fucking shit my pants. I think my first opening day, my first ever day of uni was like, shit, twat, fuck. And I jumped out of bed and my friend was like, ah! And it was just like so much going on.
It was such a blur.
Such a blur. I came in no makeup on, no nothing. I literally put clothes on, was out the door.
I arrived and I was like, you know, it's cold outside, you've been running and you get in here and you're just sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was horrible. And everyone was like turned around.
Yeah, to look. They did the same with me. So when you came in all flustered, I was like, thank God.
She's my girl.
Yeah, she's on the same page as me. And I FaceTimed you as soon as we got home because I wanted straight away to do the profile thing. First of all, to be like organised for my work. Second of all, because I thought it's a really good way to like just confirm. Do you know what I mean? Like confirm a friend.
While it was fresh.
While it was fresh. Because so many times, like, you can meet people in those kind of situations and then, like, that's it. Like, you don't really, like, they can be, like, an in-uni friend and that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
There's a big difference between people that you just talk to in class and people that you actually talk to outside.
Exactly. And you were the first friend I made.
Yeah,
so
same.
I was like, right.
No, same.
I'm going to make sure this one's fucking in the bag.
I'm sticking with her.
Yeah, we did. Pretty much. We pretty much have. And, but I also wanted you to mention about,
what have I done?
No, nothing. It was like so obviously we had all of this and it was all cheery and merry and bright.
Yeah.
And then your impression of me altered, didn't it?
Slightly. Not for very long.
No. And I'm not, by the way, let me just clarify, I'm not annoyed at all by this. The reason I want Grace to bring it up is because it is just hilarious to me.
It's the biggest difference between me and you.
It is. We have very different mindsets. I'd say that I'm a lot more optimistic than you are.
Well, like, you're like God a retriever and like black cat.
But equally, if it was me and my mum, I'm black cat. And my mum's got a retriever.
No, that's so true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm always just black cat.
always.
Always.
I think I used to be very black cat. I think I try and see the positives more than I used to.
That's what I admire most in you, though, I think. Because I can't do it. You know I can't do it.
I try and remind you of them. I do my best. And usually it works out fine.
Normally I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Right.
you just need a little reminder. You're not all doom and gloom of like, fuck this shit, no one can save me.
No. You just have to be nice sometimes.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like Grace, be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I have had to say that to you. Can you just be nice in this situation, please?
So
Please don't embarrass me.
sorry.
But I want you to talk about, so I didn't message you for a while, did I?
No, it wasn't that. I can't remember what it was. We'd been talking for a while, I think. We were just, like, cracking on. It was nice. And I was like, oh, my God, I've made a friend. Because I was a commuter as well, so I didn't live here. So, like...
You live miles away.
Yeah. So I was driving in, and it was really hard to make friends, extra hard. And I had you, and I was like, I'm fucking letting this go.
Yeah.
So I think I texted you, and you left me on delivered for, like, 2 or 3 days. And I remember seeing you in a seminar... And I was just like, I felt really awkward. And I was like, I don't know what I've done. So I just was like, oh, you're right. And then I remember turning my phone to you and pointing at the text I'd sent you. And
that was such a bold move. I shit myself when you did that. I was like, oh, she's this kind of girl. Oh, a fly's just flew in. Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to 20-somethings.
How old are you?
Are you in your 20-somethings? Join the pod. That's really annoying, but I can't be bothered to get up and do anything about it.
He's a big boy as well.
He is, big fat man. Oh. No, I thought he was going to go. Carry on.
Yeah, and you were like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was just like, Just a little bit of like,
Caution.
a little twinge of like, oh no. Because I really wanted us to be friends, like really good friends. And I was like, I don't think she likes me. So I was just kind of like gauging like where you were with me. And then you did it again. And I was like, right. She doesn't want to be my friend. That's fine. I was like, I'm just going to stop trying. I'm not going to talk to you. Outside of seminar, like obviously I'll be polite and kind to you.
Yeah.
But I was like, if you've got no interest in being my friend, then I'm not gonna chase you.
I completely get that though.
Yeah.
I'd do the same. If I was convinced that someone didn't like me, I'd be like, oh, do one then.
Yeah. But if I knew you how I knew you now, it wouldn't have been an issue. But I didn't know you the same way back then.
Because this isn't. But you're not the first person that's done this or had this thought process with me.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, my friends that are watching it now will like. They all know my replies are awful.
Yeah,
awful.
They are.
My friend George, I was going through all my old messages on Snapchat the other day, and I realised I'd left him on delivered for 3 weeks yesterday.
Ava.
But that's nothing to do with George or my relationship with George or our dynamic or how much I care about him. But he's busy, I'm busy, and I know that we both have the same, like George has probably done the same to me. Like, we're both...
a low maintenance kind of friendship.
Yeah, and I know that if I meet up with George, we'll just pick up where we left off.
Yeah.
And I'm like that with a lot of people. But I completely understand, that people want to be messaging and to be reassured that, like, all is well. And that's not unreasonable to ask for. It's just, I think a lot of people get that vibe from me of like, oh, she's not messaged me, so she doesn't like me.
I think that's fine if you're like that with everybody and everyone who's friends with you knows that. But I think
2 or 3 days is calm.
Yeah, that's like in
normal.
Ava world, that's like an hour.
Yeah,
to everybody else.
Exactly.
No, but I think just because back then I didn't know you that way, and I'm the kind of person that like, I'm so bad. I'm always on my phone. So if I'm the kind of person that if I've not replied to you for a very long time, there's a reason.
Yeah, you're pissed off.
Not like I'm pissed off, but like...
Or something's happened, or...
Yeah, unless like... Because I'm very big on like just letting you know. So like if I've got a really, really busy day and I've been texting you, I'd be like, I'm not being rude. I've just got to do this, but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Like that's what I will do to a lot of people. So people leave me undelivered, but that's just like me needing to learn the difference between me and other people. Like that is what it is. So I've got low maintenance friendships where like we just won't speak for a while, but when we do speak, it's completely normal. I just can't do it. I could never leave you undelivered.
But you're something I really appreciate about you and what you bring to our friendship is the fact that you never don't know where you stand with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had moments like I literally did it to you this weekend where I was like, oh my God, are you annoyed with
and
me?
I felt so bad.
But I know equally, it's more my own paranoia because I know equally that if you were annoyed with me, you'd be saying like, that's kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, you're always really clear. You never stood there like, oh, is Grace faking it with me right now? Like, she's she's very honest.
Do you know
Brutally.
why as well I think I do it with the replying to me thing? It's because, like, growing up, if I got in trouble, it was silent treatment, right?
Oh, interesting.
So now when no one's if I've been non-delivered for a long time, I'm like, have I done anything wrong?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And I think that, like, even though I know there's no rational reason for you to be angry at me, I'm like, what have I done? So I don't know if maybe it's that, but that made me jump.
Yeah, it made me jump.
I don't leave people undelivered, but maybe for that reason, I like to know where I stand as much as I like people to know where they stand with me. But I know with you now, it's not like that.
And also there was an event, wasn't there, that added to your paranoia.
Oh my God. Oh.
Please, can we talk about it?
Yeah.
Obviously, we
I'll
won't
probably get
say.
quite animated.
No, good, because it's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's funny now. Back then, I was devastated.
But back then, even when you were telling it to me then, I thought it was hilarious. But if I laughed, you would have been like,
I was like, Ava, please
understand
how I feel.
I did. I understood how you felt.
Yeah.
But equally, I couldn't help but be like, this is
ridiculous.
child play.
Yeah.
Like, this is like we're in the fucking playground.
Well, that's why I was so annoyed.
Yeah, not from your behalf.
Yeah.
On this girl's behalf.
Okay, so.
I mean, we can't say her name.
No.
If you need to refer to her, let's call her Exhibit A.
Okay, so obviously I commuted last year. So
Yeah.
again, was very desperate to make friends because I came to UEA. Like, are we saying what uni we're at?
Yeah, fine.
Blind. Never did a look around. Didn't come to freshers. Just turned up on my first day and was like, I'm here.
Yeah, I was baffled you didn't do any freshers stuff. Baffled. I was in all the clubs. I got one of those wristbands that allow you in like multiple clubs, so you don't have to keep buying tickets.
Yeah.
And I felt awful.
But like, again, the whole problem we had last year, me never being able to come because, like, where would I put my car? How would I? That was probably part of the issue.
And I got horrendously ill, to be fair. The freshers
yeah,
flu
and I
was
didn't.
real.
I managed to evade that.
I've evaded it this year because I've not gone to them.
Same.
So all you dirty freshers. Disgusting.
Wash your hands.
Yeah, what kind of viruses are you carrying? It's vile.
Do you remember in primary school on the toilets, they'd be like, catch it, bin it, kill it?
Yeah, do that with the freshers.
Yeah.
Let's catch them, bin them, and kill them.
Bit of Purell in the bin as well.
Yeah, spray some hand sand in their eye.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, as a nitty-gritty, desperate fresher last year, I was desperate to make some friends. So, how did we even become friends? I met a girl on Welcome Week, and she was lovely. She was so sweet, and she was really, like, just invested in, like, becoming friends. It felt like, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Which, did you meet this girl before me? You did, didn't you?
Yeah, it was at the same time as you. And that's also why I panicked with you, because I was like, they're both doing it to me.
No. Yeah.
So I met her, and she was like, let's exchange socials. I'll message you. And I was like, honestly, I was climbing the walls. I was so happy, right? I go home, trot my little ass into my boyfriend's flat, and was like, I've made a friend. Yes. And he was like, so happy for me. He was like, oh my God, yes. And I was like, I've done it. And he was like, I was like, I'm going to show you. I'll show you her. Mm-hmm. I go on Instagram to show my boyfriend this girl's page, and she's gone. I can't find her anywhere. And I was like, oh, okay. And I said,
the fact that you were doing this in front of your boyfriend, like, right? Oh, I promise she's real.
The shame.
Oh,
my face is getting red, and I was like, I'm not crazy. And he was
is
like,
the girl in the room with us right now?
Adam was like, is she present?
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And I was like, I can't find her. And he was like, what do you mean you can't find her? And I was like, I think she's removed me. And he was like,
audacity.
Yeah. And he was like, oh. And I was like, okay. So I'm a little bit gutted, right?
Yeah, naturally.
Coming the next day, whenever it was, and I see her, and me being me was like, oh, I tried to message you last night. I couldn't find your page anywhere. And she was like, and I was like, oh. Immediately, with like light went on, and I was like, oh.
Fucking cow.
And she was like, oh, I'll just add you again. And I was like, okay. If I'd have met you first, I'd have been like, don't bother. But I needed friends desperately, and I was so desperate to like try and fit in this place because I was dreading coming here. So she adds me again, and then we're in seminars, and in seminars she's like my best mate. She's so chatty with me. She'll come for lunch with me. She's like love. Like she love bombed me. Right?
Love bombing's so fucking real. I don't think friend love bombing is talked about enough. Maybe we should talk about that on another pod.
That could be, yeah. Anyway, and there's like a week later, I don't come into the seminar because it was 9 a.m. and I was like, fuck off. I'm not coming. And I text her and was like, hi, I'm just letting you know I'm not going to come to seminar, just so you know. Aired me. And I was like, this doesn't feel like right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a beg right now. So I left it, didn't bring it up to her again. I just cracked on. The following, so I came back the next week, and then the week after, she didn't turn up. No text, nothing. And I was like, okay, so you clearly do not want to be friends with me, and that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to beg or chase you. I tried. So I just stopped speaking to her and haven't spoken to her since.
That's not true that you haven't spoken to her since. Because this same girl took a bit of a shining to me, too. And we were in a seminar together.
Okay, well, I haven't spoken to her nicely since.
No. And oh my God, Grace, that was fucking painful. Like, because she would, like, invite herself to these lunches that me and Grace would go on. And I'd try and be polite, but I equally was trying to be, have a bit of loyalty, because I was like, I know that she really upset you. And so I was trying not to be too friendly, but I was equally trying to be polite. And my God, like, when it was me, Grace, and this girl, like, she'd say something.
It only happened, like, twice.
I know. It didn't happen often, because I think she learnt a fucking lesson.
You, and then once me, you, and our other friend. And then she didn't come after that.
What, Katie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we can say.
Well, yeah, Katie was on last week.
Sweet.
She won't care. Hi,
hey,
Katie. Yeah, no, and I'd try, like, she'd say something, and I'd be like, oh, cool, that's interesting. And I'd look at you, and you'd be like, And I was like,
I just didn't have anything to say. Like, but on the flip side of that, if you had genuinely liked her and wanted to be her friend, I wouldn't have had an issue with that.
Yeah,
because you are your own person.
I equally didn't.
Who am I to say who you kind of can't be friends with,
Yes, I do get that. Sorry, my computer screen's just turned off. It will still be recording, it triggers me. Yeah, I know what you mean. But equally, I didn't care to be her mate either. I just wanted to be polite. But, like, I'm not saying you weren't polite, I'm just saying.
I just hate feeling used.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I was like, you're not gonna speak to me in class when it suits you and you want my answers or something, or you want to know what I've written for the essay. Like, no. You can't then decide that I'm not good enough for you outside of class, but I'll do in class. Like, no. I'm not doing that.
No, I get it. It's a waste of time.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a waste of time. And I knew she was there because she wanted to be your friend. She had no interest in me, which she'd shown. So I was like, I'm just eating my lunch.
And also, how fucking snaky would that have been if I then started being really good friends with her and then just, like, sacked you off? Do you know what I mean?
If you'd have sacked me off, yeah, that would have been snaky.
Yeah.
But if you'd have been friends with both of us, that wouldn't have been an issue because, like...
No, but equally, she bored me.
Yeah. And this is where the high school thing came from.
Yeah, cause that's why she bored me. It was because, we can have conversations of substance. And, absolutely, like, I'm here for shits and gigs.
Of course.
I'm here for shits and gigs. But I need to be able... how do I put it? Like, talking to her was like I was 16 again.
Well, and she was the person that was only ever happy when she was talking about herself.
Yeah,
the second
and boys.
Oh, the second anybody else would speak, her eyes would, like, glaze over.
Yeah,
like she was somewhere else, and I was like, "Why the fuck are you even here then?
Yeah,
leave."
Absolutely, yeah, I get it. I think, I just didn't. It didn't interest me. You interested me more, So
We got on really well and we had some proper laughs. And I felt like after the way she'd acted with me, I didn't feel like I could have a genuine conversation because I didn't trust her.
I do think that that's something that is an issue in like girl world as well as girl delusion. Is like I had a conversation about it the other day, but I won't go into it in too much detail because I'm gonna have this girl on to talk about girl code. But talk about girl code, like how so many girls, you know. So arguably, what I'm saying when I'm like, oh, I want you to kind of say loyal to you, that's like girl code, isn't it? But
Yeah,
girl
backing
code
your
can
friends.
also be really malicious and nasty.
It's like a cult.
Yeah,
It's a complete cult.
it can be really intense
Yeah,
and sometimes not very productive or nice.
No, there's some beautiful sides of it.
Mm.
I love girls.
Mm.
Like, it is something else. Like our little girly time that we get to have, and just doing silly little girly things. I fucking love. I live for that shit.
Yeah.
But there are some sides of it that are just brutal.
Yeah, and I think arguably what we've just been talking about is fucking brutal. Because this girl, I'm sure she was like, shit, what have I done? But equally, I feel like she made you feel that way.
With no explanation.
Yeah. So I feel like we'd never be the type of people to just be nasty to a girl because for the sake of it. No. I think a lot of girls are nasty to other girls as like an ego boost, which I don't like. Yeah. But we weren't doing it for an ego boost. I would try my best to be polite, but if there were any moments that I weren't or wasn't, it was to protect you. Do you know what I mean?
I just completely checked out. Like, if she'd have come to me and been like, have I done something, or I'd have had a conversation with her. I wouldn't have just been like an absolute cow. Like, would I do the same thing now? I'd probably approach it differently. Yeah. Like, first year of uni, you do a lot of growing in a really intense way. Like, would I do that now? I'd probably approach it differently. I would do it in a kinder way, but I would still do it.
Well, then arguably you haven't done anything wrong. Because if you would do it all the same again, then you haven't done anything wrong.
And I couldn't have. I could not sit there with her, have lunch, and just be fake, because I don't like you. So I don't want to spend my time interacting with you if I just don't like you. And I'd feel worse if I'd have sat there and been her friend and been fake and been like, ha ha ha, yeah, because that would have been worse in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's ruder.
It is.
Because then you get people attached to just sack them off, and that's not kind.
And you can't now say that she doesn't know where she stands with me and you.
That's what I've said.
Yeah.
You always know where you stand with Grace Brophy.
Whether it's for good or bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, but then it's clear. I prefer that. I'd prefer for someone to look me in the eye and be like, oh, I don't like you, than to sit there and pretend to be my friend and like bitch about me behind my back.
This is why I appreciate our friendship so much as well, because you've made me softer, I feel like.
Do you reckon?
No, you have. Like, I would approach things now in a more kinder way because of your influence. 100%.
Thanks.
I'm just big on the ego so bad.
Yeah, my ego is like inflating. I feel like the man in Up. That's where my ego is.
I honestly feel like with me and you were like yin and yang, to be honest with you. It's like counterbalances really well.
I think I do have it in me to be fiery.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you sound it, mate. God. Did I stutter? Yes. Yeah, I have it in me to be fiery. Like, I don't put up with shit. No. But I think I put up with shit for longer than you. Because I give people more of a chance, which is a blessing and a curse. Because equally it means that I've wasted a lot of time on people I shouldn't have wasted on. Whereas you don't waste your time.
But then on the flip side of that, I could have lost out on some good friendships if I'd have given them more time.
Yeah, it is literally yin and yang, innit?
It's just,
But I think that's why it's nice that we're mates. Because, like you said, it balances each other out a bit more.
I'm like, Ava, fucking stop putting up with this.
Stop putting up with this shit. Please.
Cut them off now.
Yeah. But then equally, I'm like to you, I'm like, oh, but did they mean it that way, Grace?
And I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, facts. I feel like that I'm surprised you've said I get through to you as much as I do, because sometimes we have these conversations and I'm like, ooh.
I go home and think about it.
I plant the seed and you do the growing.
Yeah.
I guess at least I plant the seed.
Do you know what I feel like? Us three, me, you and Katie, it's like I'm the soil, you're the water, and Katie's the sunshine.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Genuinely, I am the seed, you water me, and Katie just like adds all this love and light that makes me grow.
She's the definition of like Barbie.
Oh, I love her.
She's Barbie Dreamhouse.
She is.
And I love that she's Barbie Dreamhouse.
But I feel like we're Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Yeah, slash brats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she should have been Barbie. Fuck Margot Robbie.
Yeah, we should have had Katie.
We should have had Katie Arnold as Barbie. Hi, Ken. I should have asked her to do that on the pod. She wouldn't have done it. She would have got embarrassed. But we love you, Katie. We love that you're Barbie. Barbie
So
Dreamhouse.
much. Barbie Dreamhouse.
You sound Norfolk when you do it. Barbie Dreamhouse. Like a Norfolk chick and caves on a Saturday. In my tractor with Barbie Dreamhouse.
I could never fit in with Katie on a normal day.
No. Even when she used to wake up hungover in my flat, she'd still look gorgeous, and it just dicked me off.
She's just the ultimate, like, clean girl aesthetic.
She is.
We could turn into just a we fucking love Katie.
Yeah. This could be the title. We love you, Katie.
Yeah.
Well, let's return back, because Katie's had her moment to shine. She's been on the pod last week. We love her dearly, but let's move on. I'd like to talk about, if you're willing, our family dynamics.
Where do we start?
Where do we start? Because me and Grace, and actually, did you I don't know if you have, it's completely fine if not, but you know Amelia in the second episode?
Yeah.
We have very similar childhoods and family dynamics as well. So you'd probably really get, if you meet, you should talk about this kind of shit. Because
I feel like you said this before. Yeah.
Weirdly similar. So we're obviously both from divorced parents. And we've both experienced our parents dating.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Do you want me to go first?
I'm completely happy.
I'll go first. Settle us in. So my parents got divorced when I was really young. To be honest, I don't even really remember it happening. Which is a good thing, really, I think, because I didn't have all the stuff of, like, my mum and dad screaming at each other in the house or, any of that. But it was just, like, one day my dad was living with us and then one day he wasn't. And it was all relatively quite healthy, actually, the divorce. I was quite lucky with that.
Good.
And my mum and dad spoke to each other and were able to be in the same room, which is a blessing itself, let alone, would kind of, like, my dad would come to my birthday parties and stuff and they'd be able to, like, sit and chat and have a laugh, and it was quite healthy when I was growing up to have that experience. However, my mum, like, she had, like, boyfriends, like, kind of brief boyfriends that, didn't really last very long. As I was growing up, I think, when I say boyfriends, I think I'm pretty sure it was only one that I know about that I met.
Yeah.
And he was an alright guy. He was alright.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's just weird. And I was still quite young. I think I was about probably 9 or 10 when she met this guy. So I was still quite young. And I remember very vividly, he's a really lovely man. Like, I say this, like, he's, I don't mean any harm by him. He treated my mum really fucking well as well. Because when my grandma died, was when she met him, and he helped her so much with that, and I really appreciate him for that. But I remember there was one day I came into the living room from my dad's. He dropped me off, and my mum's boyfriend at the time was sat watching football in the living room, and I was like, what a fucking pig. I don't want to watch football. This is my telly time, and mummy knows that it's my telly time. This is iCarly time.
Yeah.
Not fucking Manchester United time. And I remember saying, like, oh, this is my telly time, you've been here all weekend, like, can I watch something I want to watch? And he was like, haha, you'll have to get the remote from me. And was obviously trying to play with me.
Yeah.
But as an only child that had just had my mum's attention all the time, and first boyfriend I've met isn't my dad, I was like, just give me the fucking remote.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to play with you.
Oh, no, yeah.
Anyway, moving on from that, like, she'd had kind of things like that didn't last very long or whatever, but she actually got remarried at one point to a lady.
I feel like we should call her Voldemort. Is that right? Can we do that?
Voldemort. My mum would find that so funny. Voldemort. Yeah, my mum got remarried to Voldemort, which was a shock for the family because they met. She was my mum's personal trainer. They met. Within a month, they were dating. within 6 months. No, within a month they were, not even. They met. Within a month they were dating. Within 2 weeks of that, she'd moved in. Within 6 months of that, they were engaged. Within a year, they were married. It was like boom, boom,
Wow.
boom, boom.
I mean, props to Fiona. She's a woman that knows what she wants.
You say that, though. I don't think she fucking wanted it because it didn't end well.
Yeah.
And this Voldemort woman was I can't say this about, like, men, if anyone I've ever met in my life. I genuinely hate her
Yeah.
for what she did to my mum.
That's big as well, coming from you.
I hate her. Like, you know how you're like, oh, yeah, but I wish them well. I don't wish her well. I genuinely hate her.
Yeah.
She was horrendous to my mum, and they were married for 2 and a bit years. We had COVID, and I got stuck with my dad because my mum had just had a cancer operation, had tubes coming out of her, whatever, and I got stuck with my dad for 4 months, and she was in this house with this woman that 4 months, and I have no idea what went on in that house.
Well, her daughter's not there.
Just my mum and this woman.
Right.
When my mum's, like, really ill
Yeah.
and weak.
Mm.
And that was terrifying for me. And that loss of control, it's like, obviously I can't control my mum and I can't control her decisions. She's a big girl. She can do what she wants. But when you know that your parent deserves better, that power dynamic is so wrong.
Yeah. It's the feeling of powerlessness?
Powerlessness,
Yeah, it is, massively. Because you're looking at this person that just has done everything for you your whole life and takes care of everything. And then it almost, like, flips and you're watching them through, like, a different lens. I think it's when your parent becomes the person that they are and not just your parent.
Well, I said to my mum that, because this woman, like, sucked the life out of my mum completely. And I remember saying the words to her. I said, do you know how painful it is to live with you every day, look at you, and miss you like you were gone?
Oh.
Like, you are a shell of the mum that I had. And I think that grief is worse than when someone dies.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, in my experience anyway, obviously I can't compare to everybody's, but when somebody dies, I've lost loved ones, you don't see them anymore.
Yeah.
So you get used to your life without them, and you don't have constant reminders of them. Whereas I saw my mum every single day and had a constant reminder every single day that she wasn't my mum anymore. Thank God she is now. She's thriving. She's an icon. She's amazing.
She is an icon.
And in all of this time, it was unwavering, like, my love for her. Not at all. I mean, even though I missed her and it was really hard to see, I loved her endlessly. My love for her didn't change. I don't feel angry with her. I don't feel upset with her, because she made a mistake, and we all make mistakes.
And do you know what, as well? Props to your mum for going through all of what she's been through and still being the kindest person to ever live.
Yeah, she's
like, I have never met a woman like your mum. Genuinely, she is, I don't even know how to explain her. She's like ethereal. Like, I'm like, are you real?
She's is a ray of sunshine.
Kind. I've never met anyone, because sometimes you go through shit things and it hardens you.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened to your mum.
No.
At all.
She is just my little ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
She brightens my day every day. Every single day, without fail. Even if it's just a little text from her, like, she like, she'll send me little text being like, of, like, a picture of her on the walk with Dave or something in her little bobble hat.
It's just wholesome, isn't it?
Oh, she's just, I love her so much, man. And yeah, I think that added to the anger with the woman, because I was like, how can you treat someone so pure and loving and kind the way that you're treating them?
Well, it's what people like that look for, though, because they know that they'll get away with so much more, and that's exactly the kind of person that they prey on for that exact reason.
So, how would you describe your mum and your dynamic with your mum?
My mum and dad split. I was 13, I think. 13, 14-ish.
You're quite a bit older then.
Yeah. So obviously that's difficult as well, because being older, so my dad got in a relationship with one of my mum's friends fairly quickly, like probably within like maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, okay.
and obviously she has all of her family.
Mm.
And as an older kid, being introduced into your dad's like new family, the dynamic shifts massively, because you are this kind of little person that's done the majority of like your parenting's nearly done. Nothing that they can really add. You're not. Everyone loves these cute little babies and cute little kids that come in, and they become more part of the family, and they see them more integrated than an older kid. So that was difficult, I think, because you're sat there and you're watching a family that you don't feel a part of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really do.
Because she's got quite a big family as well. And don't get me wrong, they're very nice people, and it's nothing on them. It's just, I'm aware it's difficult to have an older kid that has all of these memories and emotions that is now sat in your living room that you don't really know.
It's a massive, massive change.
Yeah.
It's a massive one.
So there was that, and then we moved into our house that we're still in now, and my mum met my ex-stepdad fairly quickly as well, to be fair. We moved in the September, and I think she met him in like the October.
Wow.
So
quick.
they both, but I think mum and dad's marriage was probably done way before they actually separated.
I think
So
that's very
emotionally, they were both just done.
Checked out.
Yeah. So mum met my stepdad, and in the October, I met him on my 15th birthday in the February, and he never left after that. In the beginning, it's always going to be difficult, isn't it? Like, you're not my dad, you know?
And you better be treating my mum right.
Yeah, and for a while he was, as far as I know, but obviously knowing what I know now, I don't know this man at all. So I have no idea what was true and what wasn't true.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were together probably would have been like 6, maybe nearly 7 years.
Long time.
So it's been a long time of like this man being in my house, and for a while my sister lived with my dad and I lived with my mum. So for a good few years during the week, it was always me, my mum and my stepdad. And it was really nice, actually. Like, I felt like an only child for a while, and to be treated like one as well when you have so many sisters was quite nice for me. And obviously he had his 2 daughters that would come round every other weekend, and then Olivia would come, my sister Olivia would come every weekend. I would see her every weekend. But it started to change, I think, as we got older as well. Obviously you've got these teen girls, and he really didn't like the way that my mum would parent us. My mum's a gentle parenter.
Same.
But like in a natural way. She's not like actively trying. She just doesn't feel the need to be an arsehole to her kids for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like my mum's mindset's always been, why would I say no if I don't have to say no? Obviously if the no is needed, she'll say no, and we would respect that. My mum was strict, but in a kind way.
Stern.
Yeah, like don't fuck with her. Do not. Oh my God, do not. But she just wanted us to be happy. And I remember that really angered him. He really didn't like it very much that mum would just like, I don't know. I remember one time I was leaving for school, and I went downstairs and asked my mum to come and have breakfast with me. And he really liked to have breakfast in bed with my mum. Really didn't like for her to come down and like be with us. I said to her, oh, I'm leaving soon. Do you want to come have some breakfast with me? And she was like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. And as we're going down the stairs, he went, what, are you really going to go down there with her and leave me? And my mum was like, yeah. And she did, and he got the right hump. Like, and I got to a point where I was like, you do know that she is my mum,
All
right?
this shit is just like far too familiar, isn't it?
It's very much, you do feel territorial. You're like, that is my mum, you are in my house. Who do you think you are? And then that was a struggle for a while. I remember him saying to my mum once, if you don't push them out of the nest, they'll never fly. And my mum was like...
I got pushed out of the nest at 16, 17.
Yeah.
By my mum's partner at the time.
Exactly.
Because from the exact same saying, if you don't push them, they don't fly.
Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't a push.
And who are you to decide that as well? Why do you get to say that that's what should happen?
And I didn't fly. I sank to the floor.
Because we're children.
Yes.
Just because I'm 16, 17, I'm a child. Like...
I was incredibly reckless as well because I got pushed. Do you know what I mean? I didn't fly. I sank, and I mean, like when I say reckless, I mean like the way I behaved. It wouldn't be how I behave now. My view of sex, especially.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah. I had sex really quite young, and I just didn't give a shit. I thought it was thrilling. I thought it was exciting. I liked the risk. I liked that I didn't. Some people I didn't even really know.
Well, I think relationships in our minds as well, when we were of that age, were completely expendable.
Yeah,
they were nothing.
It, yeah.
They were never going to be something in our head that was going to last. Because why would it? You know.
And I liked, honestly, just being held.
Yeah.
For a bit.
Yeah.
And
just someone who's not being a complete arsehole.
And I also liked that then I could just leave. And I didn't have to continue that.
Yeah.
I felt like I got my fix of affection.
Yeah.
And then I could go home and carry on with my day. I wouldn't fucking do that now.
No, it's weird watching how your parents change as well to adapt to this new person as well. Because I remember me and Mum had a bit of a tiff. I can't remember what about now. It was such a long time ago. And I'd come up to my room, and as you do, slam your door. I'm 16. I'm angsty. I was annoyed. I slammed my door. This man came charging up the stairs, opened my bedroom door, and when I say he was screaming at me, and even said to me, this is why your dad doesn't fucking like you. My dad does like me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm his child. This is why your dad left, basically, is what he was trying to get at. And I was shouting back. I was like, of course. And then I remember saying to my mum, did you not hear that? And she was like, no. And I was that broke my heart. It really did. Because, like, my house is not the kind of house where you're not going to hear something like that happen. You'd hear it. So I left and went to my friend's house in just floods of tears. And the next day, all I got from him was a sorry for shouting at you text. And that was it. And I was just meant to be like, get over it then. And looking back, I understand why my mum did it. She's completely in the middle and she's torn. But I was like, I can't believe you just let him do that to me.
Well, my mum, because I used to have similar conversations, she used to say that the reason she would let Voldemort get away with it was because it genuinely was the safest option.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, so there were lots of things where, like, there was one of it was one of the biggest arguments, one of the first big arguments is what I mean. Like, it was should have been nipped in the bud there.
Yeah.
My mum had this painting from one of her ex-boyfriends when she lived in Paris when she was in her 20s.
Oh, wow.
And this he's dead now.
Oh.
And this painting is all she has of him. And she adored it. Like, adored it. It was, like, centre in our living room. It was beautiful. She'd had it for decades. Every house she'd lived in on her own, she had that painting in it. And he said her name then. Voldemort asks her one night, where did you get this painting from? It's really unique. Because it was weird. It was, like, very abstract. My mum said, I was dating this guy in Paris in my 20s. And he painted it for me before I left, and I really love it. And Voldemort's like, what? It's from an ex.
Come on.
And this painting ended up in shreds in our garden in the pissing rain. And my mum, I remember just, like, literally picking up the pieces of this painting outside. And in floods of tears, she's picking up these broken pieces of canvas and flaked paint and starting to mould. It's in the rain. It breaks my heart, the image. And I remember my mum just being like, I was saying to Voldemort, I was like, that's not fucking on. And I remember my mum being like, don't say anything. And that happened more often than not. Was don't say anything, don't do anything.
Yeah.
Even when it was me that got the brunt, don't do anything, don't say anything.
Yeah.
I got locked in the house once because I used to just leave. As soon as I passed my driving test, I used to just leave. I used to get in my car and I'd drive.
Yeah.
And I usually got away quite successfully because they wouldn't hear me go because of the shouting. And I remember there was one time I opened the front door and it creaked.
Oh my god.
And Voldemort comes like running through the hall to me, reaches behind me and slams the door behind my head and is like, "You're not going anywhere."
For literally what reason?
Locked me into my keys, and was like, "You're not going until I've sat you down and I've told you exactly what your mum's done." And I had to sit there and listen for an hour and a half. And then eventually I was like, "Can I just have my keys back?"
What exactly did she think I was ever going to achieve? This is what I mean, is people are not rational. They're insane. And for the longest time, like, don't get me wrong, I adored my stepdad. I loved this man. He, obviously, I still have my dad, but wasn't around as much because they'd split up. So he was doing the things around the house that a dad should be doing. And then he started having affairs for some reason, unbeknownst to me.
Yeah, I've not experienced that. I've not experienced my mum being cheated on.
No, but I think you take the cake for that one, because I couldn't even, nothing that I will ever say tops what you guys have been through, ever.
I think it's just different.
Yeah.
They're just different issues.
Yeah.
Your heart still breaks.
Yeah. Just, yeah. So he, I don't know, do you want to, I've told you already what happened. So, when was it, like, it was this summer just gone. I was at the pub, quiz night with my boyfriend and our friends, and my sister rings me because earlier that day there'd been a woman on Facebook who had claimed to be in a relationship with my stepdad. But her profile looks fake. Her pictures are very, very, very edited. It looks like a bot, right? So I rang my stepdad and laughed about it with him, and he was like, "Ha, no idea who she is. Yeah, don't even worry about it, mate. It's so funny. I've always spoke to mum about it. Ha, no idea, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Ah, cool." Just thought it was hilarious. Thought, like, it'd been a hack or something.
Yeah. And at this point, he's been with your mum for 6, 7 years.
Because you do not ever expect it.
Of course.
And I'm at the pub, my sister rings me, and she was like, "That woman's real." And I was just like, "Excuse me?" So I leave the pub and I'm out the front on the phone to my sister, and Olivia's like, "Yeah, I messaged her because it didn't feel right to me. I didn't believe it." Olivia's very clever. She is very, very in tune with things, and if it's not right, she's gonna clock it. And it's always Olivia that clocks it. And me and mum are like, "Shit."
Clever.
Every time.
Yeah.
She sees right through everybody. She's never really liked my stepdad. And we were always like, "Why are you being like this, man? Like, come on." No, she was right.
Annoyingly.
I hate it, but she's always right. She messaged the woman and was like, "How do you know?"
I'll bleep it.
What should we call him? Who 2 times a lot?
Philip Schofield.
Philip Schofield.
I'll bleep it, don't worry.
She was like, "How do you know him?" And the woman was like, "He's my partner. Who are you?" And Olivia was like, "I'm the stepdaughter he's had for the last 6 years, my love." And it turns out he told this woman that he'd broken up with my mum months ago. He'd had no contact, been in a relationship with her, met her 3-year-old, 2-year-old son.
Wow.
Been to her house nearly 3 or 4 times a week, from what she was saying. Like, very, very serious relationship from what we were told from her. And then when we confronted him, he just went dark, like, just ghosted us. We couldn't get hold of him. I rang my stepsister, who knew everything this whole time. And in the beginning, I was like, I understand why you did what you did, because if my mum had come to me and said, "I've met this guy, I really like him, I just need to get rid of stepdads, just give me a couple of weeks to figure it out," I'd have been like, "Ugh, okay." I would have avoided him because I would have felt awkward, but I would have done it for my mum because I would. What I wouldn't have done is come week 4 and he's still coming around all the time, still acting very much in love, still planning weddings. I'd have been like, "Mum, are you gonna have a conversation then? Because you said you would and you're still seeing this bloke, so like, what's going on?" And I said to her there and then, like, "I'm giving you a week, 2 weeks. If you don't tell him, I am going to. I love you, but I am going to." And then if after that she still hadn't said anything, I would have told him. because I had that respect and love for him, because he became part of my family massively. He was going to marry my mum. He lived in my house. He gave me lifts. He filled my car with petrol. Do you know what I mean? Like, he did dad stuff for me. And yeah, so that all kicks off. I sent him a massive, really hurtful message that he never even bothered to read. Basically being like, how fucking dare you, I'll never forgive you. To then come back round and finally say to my mum, he fucked up, he is really low mentally, and this woman's lying. He only saw her like 2 or 3 times, and she's crazy, basically. And my mum, loving him, because she has loved him for the last 5 years, was like, okay, we can try and make it work for the sake of that I am 50 years old and don't want to have to start again. She was like, okay, we'll make it work, because she loved him, and that's fair play. Like, I don't knock her for it, you know. And he was like, I miss you, I want to marry you, I love you, we'll make it work. Allowed those bridges to be rebuilt, and this entire time was still seeing that woman and another one on top of that as well, which all came out 2 weeks ago. So for this, since April, no, August, sorry, since August, was cheating. Been cheating since the previous, about probably maybe March, April time. Went on a family holiday with us in the May, and this entire time had 2 women on the go that he knew full well he was seeing, but was planning weddings with my mum.
See, I think, because you said, you know, oh, that can't compare with what you've been through and blah, blah, blah. It so can, because when my mum split up with her ex-wife, I was relieved. I had no heartbreak. I was like, thank fuck for that. Let's just get on with the rest of our lives and pretend that chapter never fucking happened. I had no healing process because I didn't need one. Whereas what you've been through isn't a relief. What you've been through isn't healing in any way, shape or form.
I'm relieved this time round because I've gotten my upset out the first time.
Yeah.
And then I never liked the way he in the last year or 2 was speaking to and about my mum anyway. My mum doesn't drink, she doesn't enjoy it. He goes out of her way to say how boring he finds that and how boring she is as a person because of that. He talks about her appearance and her body, and there's nothing wrong with her. She is a normal 50-year-old woman. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. But they've been saying vile things about her with this woman, laughing about her. They've been calling her disabled. And she's not disabled in the slightest. So not only are you a cheating twat, you're also just disgusting as a person. Like, he blamed ADHD and he blamed all his mental illnesses on why he's done this to us. But not only did you cheat and get caught, you cheated, got caught, apologised, said you wanted to come back, came back, built bridges, and then was doing it the whole time anyway. And his excuse was, I just never thought you'd actually find out. I just thought I could get away with it. And I'm like, babe, you're not that smart.
No.
Clearly.
And what a fucking response as well. That is the epitome of, like,
Yeah.
I'm not sorry I did it, I'm sorry I got caught.
Basically. And
Yeah.
I've not had an apology. I mean, I'm not the one that deserves an apology. My mum is.
You deserve one too.
I feel like I do. Like,
do.
he's not reached out. He's not text or rang or anything.
Well, Grace, you fucked around with your life.
This is what I mean. You've not just played with my mum, and that's why my mum can't forgive him this time, because now you've played my kids as well. And with my mum's like, you can play me and play me and play me, but you do not fuck with my kids. That's where my mum is at. And I think if we'd have been younger, she wouldn't have taken it back the first time, but we're 20 and 17, and we've had conversations with her, and we were the ones that were like, you do what you need to do. That's why she would have taken it back the first time, because we were like, Mum, like, it's your life. Like, when we move out, you need to be happy, you know? This time round, I'm livid. How fucking dare you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I paid to have the locks changed. No, I did. I thought, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you messaged me saying that, and I thought, like, slow.
Well, because my mum was like, I'm going to put his stuff in the garage. And my house, you don't need to go through my house to get to the garage. You can go through the gate, and there's a door in the garden like that goes into the garage. My mum says to him, your stuff's in the garage, just go and get it when you come. And I was like, I don't trust him anymore, ever again. And I was like, Mum, like, respectfully, you don't know this man. We don't know him. I don't trust him. I don't want him anywhere near my house. So I paid to have the locks changed. And I was fucking right, because I'm at work that day on the Ring camera watching this man try and get into my house with a key that now doesn't work.
Wow.
For what reason? You have no reason whatsoever to be in the house. So when the front door doesn't work and you go through the gate and can get into the garage, tell me why you're then trying the back door.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
You've not reached out to me or my mum or my sister. You've not offered any decency at all, you or your fucking daughter. Get out of my house. Do not. And I felt really sad that I was watching him be confused for why he couldn't get in and like what's going on. I felt horrible.
Why? Because what did he want in your house?
That's what I mean. And now that I've gone home and thought about it, I realised the anger came back and the sadness went away. But I originally was just so sad because I was like, we don't need to be here. This never needed to have happened.
But that's not...
And that was your choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when I remembered that, no, this was his choice and he did this. The sadness went away again. But I've also got all these memories of him being like, I would have asked this man to walk me down the aisle with my dad. You know? So that's I think what I was sad for. But now I'm like going, fuck yourself.
It's a grieving process like any other, Grace.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think it's going to take time to heal from. And absolutely, you know, you should be there for your mum and it's your mum's loss. I say it like he's dead. It's not dead.
He may as well be.
He may as well be, though.
I'd be fine
You're
if he
never
was.
going to see him again. But it's also yours. And I think that was something that I needed to remind myself with my mum, that, you know, my mum's been through all of this stuff, but I also was fucking there the whole time.
Thing, yeah.
And that's what you need to remember. That, you know, all of these memories your mum's going to have to let go of, you have the same memories. You've got, in fact, even kind of different memories. It's just because he was your mum's partner and your stepdad doesn't mean that she can grieve more than you.
Yeah.
Like, you should be able to give yourself your own time and your own space to do your own healing process, because you had, you know, you imagined a future with that guy as much as your mum did.
Well, I don't know how it works for you as well, but it makes me worry about any future kids that I have. Because fuck me, if I ever have to put them through this, it's not my mum's fault that we've gone through this. It's not her fault that the divorce happened.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not blaming my parents because they are going through life the first time as well. You know, they're going to make mistakes. But I would never want any kids that I have to experience anything like this.
Well, do you know what? I had the same thing, but I want kids. And it changed from a frightful thing of what if I do this? What if I create this life for them? But then it turned into a really adamant determination of like, my kids are going to have the best fucking upbringing. They're going to have the best fucking life. And I'm going to make sure of it. No fucking way am I ever going to let somebody walk into our lives and do to them what we experienced. I'm not having it. Even if it's the father of my kids and I've misjudged it and I've got it completely wrong, people make mistakes. I can't sit there and guarantee that I'm going to pick the absolute perfect dad for my kids and that we'll stay together forever and ever and it's going to be great. But the second it isn't, I'm putting my kids above everything.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm not saying that our mums didn't do that.
No,
but
no.
We've seen it unfold. Our mums are from a generation of their parents are married, always married, stay married, die married.
Yeah.
And they're like, that it didn't happen. This kind of shit just didn't happen. And if it did, it was very hush hush. No one talk about it. You stay with your fucking partner. But, you know, my mum grew up with parents that genuinely were really, really in love.
Okay.
And so they haven't seen all of these red flags, all of these warning signs, all of these things that should have been nipped in the bud. We have seen them. So there's no fucking way that it's going to happen to us, Grace.
Yeah. And, you know, I have sympathy for my mum as well, though, because, like, she didn't speak to her dad for probably 30 years.
Okay.
So my granddad actually did have an affair. And my nan is this tiny little Lancashire woman, but she is the feistiest thing I've ever met in your life, and she kicked him to the curb.
Yeah.
But she like broke the mold with that, so kicked him to the curb, and then he remarried this woman, and would ring my mum up on the phone and would just like shit talk my nan, and my mum was like, Dad, I want to speak to you, but if you're just going to continuously talk bad about Mum, then let's not talk. And he went, okay, have a nice life then.
Wow.
Hung up, and they didn't speak again.
Wow.
So I also, that makes me understand why my mum is so forgiving as she is, and why she's so like wanting that connection, because every male she's ever had in her life has been a twat.
Yeah.
So I understand.
But my mum had an amazing dad.
Yeah.
And it still happened.
That's what I mean. There's no telling.
There's no telling.
Yeah.
The only thing that can tell you is your own behaviour. You can't control. I say this all the time. You cannot control other people's behaviour and what they do around you, to you, but you can control your behaviour and how you deal with that shit.
Yeah.
So you can't. You could pick pick fucking Jesus to be your husband, and he could cheat on you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can have this image in your head of exactly what you think this guy is, and he probably isn't. Probably because nobody knows somebody that well. You can't. You're not in their mind. So you need to have an acceptance. I struggle with this, but I try. Have an acceptance of that shit could happen at any point in time, and you just need to be ready, and you just need to know exactly what you would do and how you would do it.
Yeah, 100%. This isn't like an excuse for the way that I am, but it does add to me being so like, just fuck off. If you're not going to add to my life and we're not meeting each other in the middle, obviously there are days where you need 70, 90, 30, and we'll do that. Or there's a day where it's 60, 40, but the majority of the time me and you are 50-50, right? If you need more, I'll give you more, and vice versa. If I am noticing a pattern with you and we are constantly at like 60-40, 70-30, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I get that.
Because I don't have the time for it.
But I think, because we need to kind of wrap up, which is annoying because we're in a good flow. But to end it on a kind of good note, I would say that these experiences, there's no way that I would be the person I am if I hadn't experienced those things.
100%.
And the strength that it's given me and my mum, and the fucking warnings that it's given me.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
No.
So, yeah, it was horrendous, but I thank my mum for making sure we got out of that situation as safely as possible, and making sure I won't get in it myself.
100%. It's appreciative of the fact that I'm appreciative of the fact that it's made people need to earn my trust.
Absolutely.
I will never, ever, ever give it out blindly and freely now, ever. And I think, actually, I do think you are the same in that way. Like, you're kind. You are so kind. But do you let anyone you meet immediately straight away? No.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think I've learnt to be kind, whether you feel that person deserves that or not.
Yeah, that's where I need to
handle things with grace.
Yeah. I'm still at the point where I'm like, I won't kill you with kindness. Like, I feel like my stepdad, he does not deserve any kindness. And he will not be getting any. There's
different ways of handling things. There's not to say that one way's healthier than the other. And I don't always kill people with kindness. That's not always my way. But it's the least problematic way I've found for me that works right now. But it also depends on the situation. So.
And we've still got, the next 9 years to figure it out before we can no longer say, but I'm just in my 20s.
Yeah, exactly. Facts. But we're in our 20s. This is what this fucking podcast's all about. And this has been a very real pod.
Yeah, sorry guys,
It's not cheery.
Probably the most depressing one you've had so far, isn't it?
I wouldn't say depressing. I'd say, like, it's going to be an interesting one to see how people respond. Because it's the first time we've talked about something that's fucking real.
It makes me die when me and you discuss this around other people and their jaw hits the floor.
Mm.
And we're like, oh, you have a
Oh,
normal
yeah.
life.
No way. Oh, yeah, this isn't normal to you? That's fucking mental. Well, I think, like, I'm just thinking about it, like, if 16-year-old me saw this pod, it would give me an awful lot of reassurance of, like, I wasn't alone.
Yeah.
I felt very alone.
And you know, 16-year-old me would have said no to coming on the pod. So there's that.
That's growth. That's growth. That's what we do in our 20-somethings. And you know what? 20-somethings, your 20s are not always for shits and gigs and fun. Absolutely, that's what their main thing is. But it's also for fucking learning.
They're brutal.
They're brutal. And this podcast is what I wanted to reflect in that.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. And I'm grateful that we've done it. And I'm grateful that you've come on and you've talked so in such a raw way about something that's very real to you. I appreciate that you've done that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I feel like we should say good luck, Charlie.
So good luck, Charlie. I can't remember the theme tune now.
I'm not going to sing it. I'll sing it to you on
Today's our word test, running Linda. You know, I've got it. Anyway.
Done.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Love you lots, Grace.
I love you too.
Aww.
See you next week for the next round of trauma dumping.
Yeah, no, next week hopefully it'll be a bit cheerier. But I actually think this is fine. And I'm really glad that we've done it.
Yeah.
So thank you for you. Thank you for everybody watching. And hopefully you've not all, you know, thrown yourself off a cliff
Oh God!
by the end of this pod. See you next week. See you in the outro. Bye. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Episode 6. It's over. It's done. Well done. If you've made it this far. I want to say thank you to my viewers that have watched, you know, from day dot, and they're still sat here at week 6, you know, it's amazing. I don't care if you're watching it on week 6, like on the Friday that it drops at 2 p.m. But if you're not, that's so fine. If you watch it at all, I'm really fucking grateful that you watch them at all. And these are really super fun to make, and I hope that you guys are enjoying them, because this is something I'd like to continue for quite some time. Can't get rid of me yet. I'm still here. I'm still fighting strong. So thank you so much for watching for a 6th time, or for a 2nd time. Maybe you started a few episodes ago and you just haven't bothered to watch the first ones. That's completely fine too. I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye. Actually, I'm going to cut that out because I can't say that she's in it. No name, no face, no case. I'm going to check my book to see if I've missed anything. Got some great ideas. I've just forgotten what I was fucking saying. What is going on? Rewind all that. Didn't say it. If you go like blah, 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 in the mic. Yeah, perfect.
What Colleen Hoover book?
Verity. Yeah. But I hate to say it was really good. You didn't like it?
No.
I read the whole
Scared
thing.
the fuck out of me.
Oh, that's why I liked it.